Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Well, I want to talk a bit about conditions. Now, right now, the St. Lawrence River is so low. I talked to somebody yesterday I've known for years. I said, "Are you enjoying taking your boat out?" He says, "I'm going to tell you something. The water is the lowest I've seen it in 25 years. And a lot of us don't understand why it would be so low. We think, well, it's because we've had a hot summer and it's not raining, or once it rains, it'll bring the water back up. That isn't the case. It's all regulated by dams and powers to be that decide where the waters that are part of the Great Lakes system are going to finally end up and how they're going to end up there. But I've thought of other aspects of this, because when I come on and I talk about the fishing conditions and report on the conditions, that's a condition. And I've thought to myself, what is the most critical condition to whether we're going to catch fish or not? Is it the lures that we select, the color of the lures? Is it the weather that we encounter? It's a little bit of everything. But if I could really pinpoint it, I think the most important part of all isn't so much the lures that we choose, isn't so much where we decide to go, as that it is in the conditions that we're faced with by Mother Nature. And a couple of conditions that really affect me more than anything when I go fishing are wind and sun brightness. And let me explain. Most of the time when I'm fishing with light tackle and light lines and light little baits. And those baits can be highly effective in the summertime. But if it's windy, I lose most of my control over whatever the bait that I'm using. And when I say bait, I'm not talking about live baits. A lot of times fishermen, they refer to whatever on the end of their line as a bait, whether it's a spoon, a spinner, a plug, whatever it is. So I'm usually using light baits, and most of the time they're soft plastic baits. But when it's windy, I lose the ability to feel the strikes because the wind is blowing my line, and my line is light line, and I'm not using heavy weights because I'm fishing in shallow water conditions. So when you take all that into effect on a windy day, I lose my ability, number one, to control how that bait drifts because the wind's blowing my line. It's changing it all. I lose my ability to feel the subtle little strikes because the wind is causing so much commotion on that line that I can't feel the little ticks and taps. And that makes a huge difference in whether I'm successful or not. I can go the same body of water with the wind down and have a complete different luck. And let's use that word luck because it comes into fishing so much. The other thing is bright sun. And I want you to think of this too. When it's bright and sunny out, and especially when it's calm, now we're going against the wind, but now we're talking about calm conditions, the fish can see everything so much better. They can see you. They can see your line more clearly. They can look at the lures and they can tell whether they look real or not real. They can deliberate. They can take their time whether they decide to bite or not. And they're also aware that when the sun is bright, they can be seen more than they can on dull, dreary days. So if they're subject to any predator, and any fish except perhaps a muskie is subject to a predator, then they know that they're going to be more susceptible, that they're going to be more visible, and so they're going to stay in heavy cover areas that they might not be on a duller day. So bright sun and winds are my enemies when I go fishing. But let me tell you, they don't stop me, because the greater joy is just to be out there. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.